Hello, wonderful people of the internet. My name is Matthew. Today, I'm here to thank you guys because the channel just passed 100 subscribers. I wanted to let you know that I'm really grateful, and given that this channel has been a good outlet for my love of reading, I wanted to, one, thank you guys again, but also have you guys give me some questions, just as a show of goodwill, like show that I care. It's meant the world to me. Like, I really enjoy doing this. You guys are amazing. Your comments are incredibly valuable, and I'm glad that someone somewhere is getting some use out of these videos. Like, if I guide someone to the right books, that's a win for me. A couple things to mention first. One, I wanted to give a special shout out to Patrick Book Reviews and Eternal Reading. Like, these guys, they've been watching my channel and been commenting since pretty much the first couple videos. So I want you to, like, before you do anything, pause this video and go subscribe to their channels. I'll put the links to them down below. Eternal Reading and Patrick Book Reviews, in case you forget. But seriously, do it now. Go right now. The video will be here when you get back. A couple channel announcements. One, I've been trying to improve my audio and video editing. So, like, this is just an experiment. Like, I'm wearing a suit so the microphone could be a little bit lower. And I'm also going to be trying to scripting my responses. I'm not going to read from a script, but I find that, like, enunciating it, there's fewer likes, oohs, ums, so I have to do less editing and the video will look less choppy. If you guys are watching this, just let me know what you think. So, let's get started. From Eternal Reading. Bravo, my friend. The usual question that I like to give is this. If you could spend one night with 3 authors, dead or alive, around a table with a few beers, who would it be, and what would be the questions you ask them? That's a really great question. Like, I have the 3 authors in mind, but, like, the way I selected them is that I almost wanted to talk to the authors where we either don't know enough of, like, their inner self, or I kind of want to interrogate what we do know about them, their inner beliefs. The first author I chose was Shakespeare. This is after I've read him. I actually haven't read any of Shakespeare. Yes, throw your tomatoes at me. I get it. I will read him. I'm definitely going to read, like, his 4 great tragedies by the end of the year. And I know which people are thinking, like, hey, this is the most famous author. But, like, the reason I want to interview it is because we know almost nothing about, like, his inside. Like, we don't have a lot of we don't really have any author commentary from him. So what I want to do is that after I read his plays, I want to be able to talk to him like, okay, what do you mean by this? What do you mean by this play? What were you trying to say? And in general, what he really believed, what his philosophy of life was, and try to get an insight into what were his struggles in life, and what inspired his writing. People have studied Shakespeare to death, and there's probably not a lot to say. I think it would be a good idea to just get a few things for certain. So I would talk to Shakespeare, and hopefully it'll either confirm or disprove some of the beliefs we have about him, just so, like, we can set the record straight there. The second one, I think, is it's a little bit of a cheat, but I'm gonna put my 2 favorite writers or writing styles, and that's Leo Tolstoy and John Steinbeck. The reason I'm choosing these authors and I'm putting them together is that, one, I really like their styles of writing, but also because, like, they wrote because they felt like they had something to say about society and the world. And, well, and in general, I also, like, want to get their insight on, like, how to write, because these guys write like no other writers I've ever read. And I want to sit down with them and almost engage in, like, a political debate. Like, what are the few things that you believe and you will probably never change your mind on? And then I would start talking about the world today. How much they got right, how much they got wrong, how much the world today reflects their values, either in reality or in the ideals we strive for. And see if I can try to change their opinion. Authors like this always kind of have, like, a strong sense of justice and injustice. And I feel like when you try to interrogate that, I would get the best, most eloquent debate that I'll ever get. And the last one is kind of a special author, and that one is John Williams, the guy who wrote Stoner. And he's kind of had, like, this resurrection as, like, a quiet master of American literature. But I think, one, I would like to get a rundown of his life. I did a little bit of research on, Wikipedia and stuff, but we don't know a lot about him. But the reason I want to talk to him specifically is because while I acknowledge that he's not the greatest writer in the world, and he probably wasn't meant to be like a literary superstar, but he feels, at least from what I can glean, like an average guy who just poured everything he had into his love of reading. And just ask him, how can someone who may not be exceptional pour everything they have into his writing and get something special? Even if they're not born to be a writer. Like, he may not have been a Shakespeare, he may not have been a Tolstoy or Steinbeck, where like they just had something in them that says you can write and you will write. He may not have been that, but he was able to produce something just as good as anyone who does have that. So that's the kind of guy I would like to talk to. And just, he's one of those guys that I think I could just talk to about, you know, random stuff like sports, or like, I'm not that into sports, but little things, if that makes sense. So I think those three, technically four authors, would be the ones I would talk to. Question from Patrick Book Reviews. Congratulations. I'll give my standard questions. If you could have any other BookTuber's library, whose would you choose? And secondly, now that you're rich and famous, will you be dropping out of grad school? I'll answer the first question first. I think for me, the BookTubers that libraries that I would like to get are the ones that are the biggest, the nicest, like they're good, well kept, and the ones that I think have the most books in them that I would like. And this one's kind of hard because like while most people do, like some BookTubers do library tours, it seems that it's pretty rare that like when you get with like movie people, like they would like have those giant videos where like, here's this DVD, here it is, this I have it. I may give like one sentence thought and then they move on. I think for most BookTubers that video would be like 12 hours or something. So from all the BookTubers that I know, I think I would select these three. The library from Steve Donahue, he's read pretty much everything, so like that library must be enormous. I could spend my entire lifetime digging through that. So like there's plenty of gold in there for me to mine. Greg from another bibliophile reads. He seems like a cool dude. Plus, like, if you're watching this, Greg, no offense, but you kind of remind me of that teacher in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This is Bueller. I love it. Like, you're the best. You're the best, Greg. So keep on doing it. Please take that as a compliment. But as another compliment, I've looked at the books that you reviewed, like your Great American Novel video, and you've had some great taste. Like, you've given me some great recommendations, plus you got a stack of NYRBs, which is a good sign for me. So I would love to have his library. And I think the last one would be Jack from Rabble Racketeur, or whatever you say that. I think those libraries probably have the most of the stuff that I like, and most of the stuff that I would like that I haven't read. As far as the second one, I assume this was kind of a joke. And don't get me wrong, 100 subscribers means a lot to me. It's more than the number of friends I have in real life, but I don't really have any interest in becoming famous, to be honest. Like, I want more people to watch my videos, but I want people to be more interested in the ideas I put into my videos, my thoughts, than actually me as a person. And as far as money, that's never really crossed my mind. I didn't join YouTube to make any money. I honestly don't know how. I don't know how to monetize. And as far as money is concerned, I'll say this, like, if the channel grows and grows, I think the main goal is for this channel to support my book buying budget. Like, I think that may be every BookTuber's dream, like that this channel self-sustains their voracious budget for buying new books and stuff like that. And if we're really living in the fantasy land, dreaming the dream and all that, maybe this could pay for grad school. But in all honesty, like, I have no interest in charging people money. For myself, I actually wouldn't feel comfortable like charging people for stuff, because the content I make right now, I don't think I would pay money for, and I would feel bad like asking people to donate stuff to a Patreon or something. Like, at least at this moment, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that, because like I was like, I'm making people spend money for something that I want to spend money for. Like, maybe if I do a book club or something like that, you know, like how BookTubers like do their monthly book clubs and stuff like that, maybe in that thing I would charge like $1 or $2. But I think at that point, like, I'll do that like once I get like 5,000 subscribers, if that happens. But at this point, I wouldn't feel comfortable charging money, And I honestly don't know how to set that up on YouTube or on Patreon or anything like that. So it's really a non-issue at this point. The third question from Stack of My Own. Congrats, time to celebrate. Taking a drink. For a more serious question, I would like to know why you think reading is important and the role it plays in our lives. For a fun question, I'd like to know when you read a new page of a new page and it has something in bold, perhaps a line of dialogue or a message, maybe on a computer screen in the book, can you resist it before reading anything else, or are your eyes powerless to be drawn to it? Even if it's a quote-unquote spoiler. I hope that question makes sense. For the first question, I think reading is important because it's all at the base communication. And humans are social animals. Like, we just can't do it alone. Even aside from reading books and novels for joy, which is what I read for, it's like we need reading to communicate messages. Like, we need to be able to pass on information among each other. Everything from instruction manuals to street signs to restaurant menus and stuff like that. It lets us judge people by our human lives. The reason I read the books I read in particular is because I think that reading is the best way to say everything that can't be said in your person. Because, like, in your head, you have so much stuff going on, and not everyone has, like, the mental or writing ability to put it on the page. Especially with reading fiction, I feel it's an opportunity to have everything that a person maybe who's struggling or has conflict in them have a chance to say everything and put it on the page and not have to worry about the person right next to them. Because, like, when you're talking to someone and they're pontificating a lot, maybe with something you don't agree with, you may care about them, but you don't get, I feel, the full impact of what someone's going through. And even if it's not, and especially if it's not something that important, it's almost like you wait to talk. And I feel with reading, even though it is fiction, so you want to take that into account, it feels with the characters, you get the opportunity to say everything they wanted to say to you in real life if they were a real person. And I think that's why I appreciate reading so much. Now, for the more fun question, I think I understand what you mean. Some books have, like, different styles. Sometimes they have things in bold, sometimes they have pictures, and sometimes they have, like, italics and stuff like that. I think it depends. Like, in the question you say if something's bold on a computer screen or something like that, like that's in a book or like in a letter, in a epistola or something like that, I think I do, like, kind of skip through it a little bit. Like, if it's like a letter, I can usually read, like, the header, who it's from, and, like, the base, like, when the page is open and, like, there's the beginning of the letter on the left side and the end on the right side. I usually do read, like, the header and the sender and something like that. And if it's bold, it usually draws my attention. But I find that beyond that, especially if it's something long or very important, I don't read the whole thing. And also, like, I have this notice that, like, when I can't stop flipping the pages, like, I'm really in the zone. The pull of the standoffish thing, whether it's the bold letters or sometimes, like, it's a sign. Like, if there's a sign in the book, it sometimes shows the sign in the book, and then, like, I'm drawn to that. But I find that the pull to draw my attention to that unique thing in the book is lesser when I'm, like, just in the moment, like, just wanting to read and read through and just keep flowing through the book. I usually notice it, but beyond, like, a couple sentences, I usually don't pay attention. Now, for the second part of this video, I decided that Bibliophile Reads created the On the Shelf tag, and I thought this could be a fun extension. Just in general, I don't do that many tags, not because I don't want to, but because I feel like I almost have to prepare for them. But I thought I would do this one because I think this one's a good supplementary to this Q&A. So, number one, when you're not filming or reading, what does a normal day in your life look like? Work, school, etc. Whatever you feel comfortable sharing. For me, it's mainly grad school, studying, a lot of loafing around on edutainment on YouTube, a lot of loafing on the couch, lunch at grandma's, Barnes and Nobles, the occasional visit to, like, a takeout place, like a Chick-fil-A or something like that. But other than that, gym. I have a few friends. I don't see them that often, but, you know, I text them quite a lot. I actually write out all my texts before I send them, so that can take a while. That's why I'm pretty a sporadic texter, but that's about it. Other than that, mainly it's reading, YouTube, and sleep. What kind of work do you do? And does it change how you read and what you notice in stories? Well, I don't work. I'm looking to get a job as a mechanical engineer or an engineer of any kind. And as of yet, that hasn't really informed my reading at all. Like, I kind of keep the humanities and the technical side of me separate. Number 3, are you a morning person or a night owl? I'll say that I'm more of a night owl, but I prefer waking up in the morning. If I have something to do in the morning, it kind of gives me that kick in the pants that I need to just get the day started, because I tend to be conscious, but I don't want to do anything for like 2 hours. But when I have that impetus, it gets the day started early, and I have more time in the day just in general, because I'm more of a night owl, so I stay up later. Do you recharge by being alone or talking to people? I find that I recharge myself when talking to people at the end of the day than when I'm talking with people in the morning. Because in the morning, not enough happened in the day, and I find like, oh, come up with something, it can be draining. But at the end of the day, when you had the whole journey of the day to, mine from, I find that a talk at the end of the day can be refreshing and recharging. What drains you the most? Too much socializing or too much isolation? That's the thing with me. I think it's too much socializing. Like, it's not that I don't like talking to people. I actually talk to strangers a lot. It's just that I feel that, like when you're with a friend and you're alone and there's this silence, and it's almost like you feel obligated that you have to come up with something to say. I feel like I don't get that sense of obligation when I'm not around people, when someone's far away, even if the message could be just about a minute away from me, like with text. That's why I tend to text people very sporadically. Like, I usually text them once a week, but I usually text them like those long 500-word texts when I really have something to say. And that's also like explains, like, don't get me wrong, I read all your comments, but it takes me a while to respond. One, because I use this channel mainly just for BookTube, and I feel like I need to come up with something. I can't just say, yeah, great. And even sometimes I just say that, but I kind of work it in my head. So in person, not draining at all. Socializing via digital media, yeah, that's very draining. 6, what's something that you enjoy that has nothing to do with reading? YouTube. Like, not just BookTube, but I just like watching YouTube. I like listening to music on YouTube. Just surfing through the web, Reddit, Wikipedia, stuff like that. I like studying for school. Like, don't get me wrong, sometimes it's draining, but it stimulates the mind. And working out, actually. Like, I need to get better at going to the gym more often, but, I like going to the gym, clearing the mind, getting moving. And, that's about it. 7, do you like to plan things ahead of time or figuring things out as you go? It depends how important those things are. Like doctor's appointments, big school events, family events. I plan those out pretty much in advance, a couple months in advance. But for smaller things, I think it's better to figure things out as you go. I might change as I become more adult. But for now, I'd say, because I don't have that many important things going on, I'd say figure things out as you go. Number 8, do you like working alone or alongside others? I think I pretty much like working alone. I don't like working as a team. Like, not saying that I don't like it, but I don't like it where, like, they don't break down the assignment. Like, okay, here's the team. This is your task. This is your task. This is your task. Go do them and come back. I like that style. I don't like the style where, like, we have to brainstorm together. At least I don't get as much value out of that. But at the end of the day, I prefer working alone, but I don't mind working with others. Are you more sentimental or practical? Practical when I need to be, sentimental when I can. 10. What kind of pace do you prefer in life? Busy, steady, or slow? I'd say steady, because I want my free time. I value my free time. But I think I need enough stuff to do, because my father says I have the curse of being busy while being unproductive. So I need to find something that can keep me productive. So I'll say that. 11. What simple task you strangely enjoy doing? This is kind of weird. Like, this is kind of like an inside joke, and it's actually opening my mailbox. I actually don't like opening the mail. When I was in university in Orlando, I actually almost never checked my mail. But when I'm at home, I love opening the mailbox. I still do that today. And even when there's mail in there, sometimes I don't get it, because I just like opening the mailbox. I sometimes say to my mother, like at the end of the day, like I'm gonna go check the mail, even though when she says like, hey, there's no mail in there, you checked it this morning, or I checked it this morning, and I say, I will open the mailbox and close it again. It's just a weird thing I do. 12. Are you naturally early, on time, or late? I think I'm naturally early for things that happen regularly. When I can plan out my week or my events that occur on a regular basis, I'm always there early, like for school, for work, sometimes for doctor's appointments. I'm always there early. For more off the cuff things like party or a picnic or a birthday party or something like that, because I don't check like the location, I think I'm more on time or late, but for regular stuff, I'm always early. 13. What motivates you more? Curiosity or responsibility? I think it's more responsibility. I think curiosity is often the catalyst for my motivations when I find something new. But at the end of the day, I need to be given something to do for something to motivate me, especially for longer periods of time as things stretch out. I want to see a task and a deadline, and that is useful to me. 14. What do you tend to overthink? What helps you feel grounded? I think I tend to overthink what I am about to present to people. I tend to ruminate on thoughts for a long time. People joke that I go to the bathroom a lot, but it's mostly because I want to like talk to myself in the mirror, like, why the heck did you say that? I feel that I need to make it so that my words are clear, but they're also inevitable. I don't want to sound like one of those people that's spinning their wheels with words. I'm not that kind of guy. And, you know, it sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. We're all human. Like, sometimes that just happens. But that's how I feel about it, even when no one's around. 15. What's something you always notice when you enter a room? The temperature. I'm kind of a chill bird for someone who lives in Florida. And if a room is too hot, I notice it. 16. What kind of humor do you usually use? I'd say I use deadpan humor, flattening humor, or clever wordplay. A good example that I like to demonstrate is I'm one of those guys that tends to use only one pair of shoes, and I make sure to keep them nice and fresh. I spray them with alcohol every day, and when I had a new pair and my old shoes were like destroyed, I like to say, have mercy on my soul. Get it? Get it? That's a bad dad joke, but that's the kind of humor I usually do, and in the moment I think it can be cute and endearing. Do you usually multitask or single task? Single task. Whenever I try to multitask, or even if I just write out a thing of everything I need to do in like this one sitting, and I just do one task at a time, it tends to slow me down. 18. What's your default reaction to free time? Plan or relax? Relax. I tend to plan the things the night before, like the night before, okay, what do I need to do tomorrow? I sometimes write it on a flashcard and I head out like in the morning to do what I gotta do and then just kind of improv the rest. And that might change as I get more responsibilities as I grow older, but that's what I say. 19. Are you comfortable with silence around other people? Family, like my very close family, like my sister, my father, my mother, yes. For pretty much everyone else, no. I gotta have something to say, or at least something to watch. You know, like if I'm putting like a movie on, and like we have something else to focus on, then fine, silence is fine. But for everything else, no. I almost feel like the host, and I gotta entertain. 21. Tag others. I will definitely do that. I'll put Patrick book reviews and Eternal Reading down below. I might tag a couple. I'll definitely tag a couple other people. Bibliophile Reads, who created this tag, and maybe a few more. So. Oh no, that was pretty fascinating. Thank you guys again. Like 100 subscribers means a lot to me. I'd like to just give a couple channel announcements. I forgot if I mentioned this. One, for the Great American Novel series, I've decided that I'm not going to be making videos chronologically. For a little bit of context, before I started this channel, I read like 20 of like the Canada Great American Novel series books before I started this channel, and I feel that like me trying to do it chronologically is kind of delaying those books that I've already read, and it might degrade their memory of them in my mind. So like I'm just gonna start making videos on those first. I do have a playlist with all the books I reviewed so far, so I am gonna order them to kind of list them chronologically in the playlist. And also I'm gonna see if I can try to post more views, like not just on Wednesday, because I feel like I'm reading faster than I can make lengthy videos. So I'm just going to try to make in addition to these Sunday videos, posting 1 or 2 standard book reviews within the work week so you guys can enjoy. I've just been reading some great stuff and I want to share it with you all. And I'm gonna see if I can try to do shorts, like do mini reviews. So I'm working on that. Let me know what you guys think. And believe me, like I'm making these videos, one for myself, but also I want to please you guys. So if there's anything in this channel you have critiques on, let me know. As long as you're respectful, I'll see what I can do. Like if it's audio editing, just let me know. I'm all ears. So all in all, thank you all for watching. Thanks again for the 100 subscribers. Hope you're all having a lovely day. Hope you find this video useful. Hope this video finds you well, and happy reading.